G'day, I'm Isaac Daly from the Noob Spearo Podcast.
I'm Turbo from the Noob Spearo Podcast. And we've been working with Pat now for about 12 months. And Pat came on board when we were doing our own editing and all of our own sound work. And it was a pretty poor quality. So we got Pat involved, and Pat basically has made our show a lot more professional, hasn't he?
Yeah, Pat came on like episode 18, and we were very much in what we now refer to as season 1. Sound quality was terrible. Poor old Turbo here was doing all the editing, and although he tried to do a good job, having someone professionally trained made all the difference. So we relaunched in episode 20 with Pat fully on board. We had all new sound bites put in, and the sound quality was just so much better. And the job was easier.
Since Pat's come on board, he's restructured the show. So he's added all the key stuff that we needed, like professional introductions, making sure the layout of the show was more listenable, and also getting the ads in the right places, like professional ads with clear call to action, so that we can monetize and
yeah. We run the Noob Spearo Podcast more like a radio show now, so the ads are like still in a relaxed way. They're not. We try to keep away from contrived advertising, but we make it relevant to our audience. Pat's helped us with that and sort of bed in a few processes to help us kind of get this right and be a bit more consistent for our sponsors. Yeah, so since Pat came on board, I think we put on about 20% more listeners every episode. So we started off with less than 1,000 downloads per month, and now we're at well over 4,000, which in a niche sport is just phenomenal. We've got the best spearfishing podcast going.
Yeah, so our listenership has really grown since Pat's come on board, and other thing we've noticed is a lot of feedback, a lot of more positive feedback from our listeners. So that's really, really positive, and really night and day, wasn't it?
Yeah, like before we used to joke around probably a lot, maybe a little too much. So some of the listeners made comments that the show had changed, and they said the format is now like a good balance between education and entertainment, because we make a spearfishing show, so it needs to have that balance in it. It needs to be interesting and fun, but it needs to also give them the right information. So Pat's helped us with that, from producing the audio right through to sort of helping us with the layout of the show and giving us that perspective that we needed, like from a third party, because when you're involved, like it's just, you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing.
I think a big one too that Pat helped us out with was getting our call to actions clear at the end of the show. And that's done huge things for our monetization. We just really weren't checking that off, and we sort of wondered why we weren't making any money out of our sponsors and our affiliate programs. And since Pat has come on board, we've really sort of excelled in that area.
We're trying to get him to take over social media, video marketing, video editing, just anything else.
Washing,
really.
anything.
Dishes, cooking.
Yeah, look, I'd really recommend Pat for anybody out there producing a podcast, particularly if you're still quite guerrilla or garage and you're doing a lot of the work yourself. There's a lot that you can gain from someone that is a professional like Pat, and we can say for certain that our listenership has grown since Pat's come on board. It's been night and day.
Yeah, to produce a 1-hour interview style show with the amount of facets to the show that we have takes approximately 15 hours work. So it's a big workload, and outsourcing some of the elements that a professional can do better just makes sense. And Pat's good at all of these things. He's formally trained to do it. So.